Battle of Gettysburg. General Robert E. Lee. General Robert E. Lee was born on January 19, 1807 at Stratford in Westmoreland County, Virginia. Lee declined an offer to command the Union Army at the outbreak of the Civil War and offered his services to his native state. Under his command, this army exploited Union mismanagement on numerous battlefields, making Lee one of the most victorious commanders in the Confederacy. George Gordon Meade. George Gordon Meade was born in Cadiz, Spain on December 31, 1815. Meade was primarily raised in Philadelphia, though his family later moved to the Baltimore area. At the outbreak of the Civil War, Meade offered his services to Pennsylvania and was appointed Brigadier General of Volunteers in command of a brigade of Pennsylvania regiments. June 28, 1863, while the army camped near Frederick, Maryland, when a courier arrived at Meade's tent bearing the news that he was appointed to command the Army of the Potomac. Meade protested at first but accepted his assignment and devised a plan to set the army in motion northward to find Lee. And then here's just a map of the Battle of Gettysburg. And the first day of battle, July 1st, 1863. The battle begins on June 30th. Confederate troops left their camps at Cashtown and marched toward Gettysburg in search of supplies. Upon reaching the edge of Gettysburg, scouts spied a column of Union cavalry south of town, closing fast. Under orders not to initiate a battle, the Confederates returned to Cashtown, where they reported the encounter to their commander. Hill agreed to send 2 divisions of his corps toward Gettysburg the next day to investigate the arrival of the mystery cavalrymen, and the stage was set for the opening of the battle on July 1st, 1863. The second day of battle, July 2nd, 1863. July 1st was a great victory for General Lee, but not a decisive one. Though the Union forces had been badly damaged, they had retreated to a strong position south of Gettysburg. General Meade arrived on the battlefield near midnight, and after discussions with his corps commanders, decided to wait for the rest of his army to concentrate around Cemetery Hill. Come the morning of July 2nd, he would attack Lee or defend the prominent hills where his men now rested. Lee, meanwhile, seated in his headquarters tent on Seminary Ridge, and pondered the growing strength of the Union position south of Gettysburg. If only he could hear from his cavalry chief, Stuart, and information he could provide about the remainder of the Union Army. July 3rd, 1863. At the end of the second day, apart from the precious foothold on Culp's Hill, the Confederate gamble of simultaneous attacks had failed. Knowing that he could not sustain more than another full day of battle, a frustrated Lee was working at his headquarters when a smiling General J.E.B. Stuart arrived. The disgusted Army commander admonished Stuart for his long absence and failure to report Union movements in the weeks prior to the battle. Yet, Stuart's cavalry would fit prominently into Lee's strategy for the next day of battle. Meanwhile, General Meade held a council of war at his headquarters on the Taneytown Road. Though the Union line had been restored by midnight, there was still a sizable Confederate force on Culp's Hill. Almost to a man, his generals agreed to stay at Gettysburg, retake and secure Culp's Hill, and then wait for Lee to attack. If he did not, then Meade should order a counterattack and force Lee to fight or flee. The Gettysburg campaign was about to reach its climax. The battle ends. Stuart successfully marched east of Gettysburg and turned his force south, where they encountered a strong Union cavalry force blocking the Hanover Road. A spirited battle ensued with troopers of both armies fighting on foot and horseback. Southern charges meant to slice through the Union line, but were stopped cold by Union cavalrymen led by General George Armstrong Custer. Stuart withdrew and retired toward Gettysburg. Lee realized his army could no longer remain in Pennsylvania. Returning to his headquarters, he dictated orders for the army to withdraw, retreat to the Potomac River, and return to Virginia. Storm clouds blackened the early evening sky. A heavy rain soon fell, symbolically washing the land of the carnage wrought by 3 days of bloody battle. And casualties, the Union had a total of 23,049 killed, wounded, and missing and captured men, and the Confederacy had a total of 28,063 killed, wounded, missing, and captured men, which is a total of 51,112 casualties. And then I have a little clip that just shows pictures from the Gettysburg, or the Battle of Gettysburg. said